Welcome to A Meaningful Marketplace.
I'm Sarah Masoni from Oregon State University's Food Innovation Center, where I've helped countless dreamers launch their new food products. It's the science of taking a food delight from the kitchen to mass manufacturing and still keeping its great taste. That's what I do. I've been called the woman with the $1 million palate, although I haven't tried to cash that check yet. Listen in weekly for real-life stories.
I'm Sarah Marshall, owner of Marshall's Hot Sauce and author of Preservation Pantry, modern canning from root to top and stem to core. I love inspiring business owners to get started on their journey, encourage folks to be part of their local community, and I'm excited to help business owners tell their stories. Hello and welcome to the Meaningful Marketplace. We are here weekly to discuss the journeys of food entrepreneurs. We're glad you've joined us today as we bring you stories of hope and inspiration. This is Sarah Marshall, owner of Marshall's Hot Sauce.
And Sarah Masoni of Oregon State University's Food Innovation Center. Hi, Sarah Marshall.
Hi, Sarah Masoni. We are moving on today from Colorado and we're on to a new state.
Yes.
Isn't that exciting?
The great state of Wyoming.
The great state of Wyoming. I'm really excited for this next segment. We talked to Wyoming last year. We're going to talk to Wyoming this year. I did want to let our listeners know that you're going to be out for a little bit.
Yeah.
So not to be alarmed. You'll be back. You're just having a little procedure done and then you'll be back.
Yep.
So just wanted to keep our listeners updated
Our
so they
faithful
didn't think
listeners.
they didn't think you were missing.
I'll be back.
You'll be back. Well, we have been partnering with the Regional Food Business Center to bring you guests from the 6-state region, and we're currently meeting with business owners from the great state of Wyoming. We have the pleasure of having our co-host back from last season. We have Melissa Hemken here. She co-hosted with us last year for episodes 179 to 186. And just to give a little introduction about Melissa, one of the rad things she does is raise heritage poultry and chickens in Wyoming. She is also a food systems weaver and storyteller, and she does all kinds of other things in Wyoming. And we're just glad to have her back. You'll learn more as she co-hosts this show with us. Welcome, Melissa.
Thank you, Sarah and Sarah. I've been listening along as you guys went off to other states, and it's been fun to hear all the stories and the people that you guys met and I got to meet through the podcast. But now we're here to introduce you all to more Wyomingites.
We're so excited. We've missed you while you've been gone, but we're excited you wanted to come back and be our Wyoming guide again. Do you have any Wyoming things you want to share before we introduce our guest?
Well, one of the fun things we're working on setting up right now is putting together Wyoming table pitch-in places. And this actually came from Sarah Masoni's event that she did last fall. And I believe, Sarah Marshall, you were at and may have won. I think I heard that through the podcast.
It was rigged.
It was rigged. So we are
wasn't rigged.
I know it's not. We're taking that great idea, bringing it to the Cowboy State, and we're going to host one in Sheridan in September and one in Jackson in October. Sarah Masoni is going to come to the October one and be our lead judge, which will be exciting.
Woohoo!
And then going forward, we hope to host more around the state. We thought we'd start small with 2 and then start moving around and do them at other farmers markets. So we're partnering with farmers markets that are already happening. So in October, it's the Slow Food in the Tetons Farm to Fork Festival. And in Sheridan, it's Rooted in Wyoming's Harvest Party that we're going to partner with. And those are 2 events that have already been happening. And we're excited to bring a pitch in place to those events.
Well, that's so cool. For anybody that's listening, if you didn't hear the episode where we talked about the pitch in place that we did, I did participate in it. It wasn't rigged. Sarah Masoni didn't have anything to do with the judging. She just put it together. But I do have advice to give for any people that are competing in it.
Ooh, tell us more.
Because I really took it very seriously and I practiced for it. So I came up with a plan that I was going to kind of host a party at my booth. So the judges were my guests and I greeted them. I wore a fancy sparkly outfit and I pretended like I invited them into my holiday party. So I made appetizers for them like I would if I was having people over to my house for a holiday party, but I made them with my sauces and told them about how they could make them at home or they could make them, for their holiday parties. And so I just kind of took a unique spin on it rather than just having them come to my table and being like, here's the thing I make and here's what I wholesale it for. And because it was a lot of store buyers that were there. So I just kind of made it fun. And I think that that's why I won.
All right.
You
Hot
won
tip.
because you're amazing.
Because they have to go around to all those tables and hear everybody's pitches. So try to make your own spin, your own unique way of greeting them.
And memorable.
And memorable,
Make it
yeah.
memorable.
Yeah.
And tasty. And okay.
And tasty.
We will make note of that here in Wyoming. And
Yeah.
I'm sure Sarah will report back what she sees.
I will,
Jackson.
for sure.
Yeah.
And all the cool people she's going to get to meet there. And hopefully some of them we can have on the podcast in the future.
Yeah, I'm
That's a good
super excited.
idea.
I'm excited for you to introduce us to all these new people. And thanks again for coming back for this round of shows.
You're welcome. It's going to be fun.
And we would like to encourage you to connect with your state by signing up for the Regional Food Business Center newsletter. It's a breeze to sign up. Just go to Northwest Rocky Mountain Regional Food Business Center.com, hit connect with us, and choose the button to receive newsletters. And we want to thank our sponsor for supporting the Meaningful Marketplace. Thank you for helping us spread the word about small business owners and entrepreneurs. Let's hear a word from our sponsor. The Northwest and Rocky Mountain Regional Food Business Center is the proud sponsor of the Meaningful Marketplace podcast, giving a voice to food from across the 6-state region of Colorado, Idaho, Montana, Oregon, Washington, and Wyoming. The Food Business Center supports Northwest and Rocky Mountain food industry makers as part of the USDA's National Network of Food Business Centers, supporting a more resilient, diverse, and competitive food system as a go-to source for small and mid-tier food and farm businesses with a focus on underserved communities, providing education in the form of technical knowledge, business programs, and industry news. We sponsor trade shows, meetups, and conferences to connect growers, producers, retailers, distributors, and processors, all to stimulate business and raise the standards of our storied food industry. Join us as we travel through the 6-state region, learning more about food makers, food hubs, and food systems. Visit the website at Northwest Rocky Mountain Regional Food Businesses.com to get connected. And I would like to introduce you to Marisha Graves she's the owner of The Busy Mother, making gluten-free baked goods in Riverton, Wyoming. We're delighted to have you on the show today. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be on the show.
We always love to connect people to you through social media. So can you tell people where to find you online?
I do have the Busy Mother Facebook page and Instagram as well.
Perfect. And we always like to start at the beginning of your journey. So can you tell people when you started The Busy Mother and what inspired you to start your business?
Well, the Busy Mother really started last year. I've spent my whole life baking. I baked all the goodies with my grandma for all the holidays, and I ended up going to culinary school, did the regular gluten baking and all of the fun stuff. Just found out 2 years ago I'm allergic to gluten, along with my father. So that completely put a 360 on it. And I decided I was tired of buying gluten-free stuff that wasn't very good. So we began to make our own, starting from scratch and creating all the wonderful recipes that we did before, but without gluten, some without dairy, and we work without eggs as well.
That's great.
Yeah, Sarah Masoni is a gluten-free buddy as well, so I'm sure she appreciates your efforts.
Yes. And I dropped eggs too. So I'm excited to hear that you do some vegan options.
Yes, that was a big thing too. I cut the gluten out and everybody kept asking, well, what about eggs? What about dairy? So we have a few specialties of each: gluten-free, dairy-free, egg-free, and vegan.
And I always like when people's name and the title of their business sort of tells you a little bit about their story without you being there. So yours definitely does, because the title of your business and the name of your business is The Busy Mother. So we already know you're a busy mother, but what else should we know about you and your business?
That's probably the biggest part is I am the busy mother, but I love to bake. My kids have started to enjoy the gluten-free lifestyle. They even think that when I make regular pancakes that they taste funny. So baking's my passion. I love gardening and all the animals and just Wyoming life.
Of your customers, Marisha, do you find that most of them are also on specialized diets, or are they just like the taste of your products?
Well, let's see. When I first started, I did have a restaurant location that I was sharing. And when I started putting items out there for samples as a grand opening, nobody really knew they were gluten free. So it actually started with a bunch of customers that just liked the product. And as soon as the word got out that they were gluten free, I started finding a lot more customers that had the allergens and were searching for somebody to help them make stuff or to make stuff for them. So it's kind of a mixture of both.
And Melissa, have you had the pleasure of trying Marisha's baked goods?
I have, yes. I recently was at a conference that she catered, and then I also have bought them through Meadowlark Market and Kitchen, some more sweet goods. But it was because I also avoid gluten. It was nice to go to the conference and find something I can eat. You know, generally they do the fruit platter and the platter of muffins from somewhere, and you don't know what's in them. But it was nice to go to that Central Wyoming College conference. And I saw Marisha as I was walking in, and then I was like, oh, and you did the food.
That's always the best when you know the food is done well. Can you tell us a little bit about the most rewarding part of building your brand and your business?
There's so many rewarding things, but my biggest thing is being able to let my customers enjoy foods that they may not have for their whole life or for a very long time. I have people that miss bread, and I'm able to make bread that they can enjoy, that they're able to eat. I just enjoy the smiles on the customers' faces.
You said that you converted some of your recipes over to being gluten, dairy, and egg free. How challenging was that process? Were there some flops in there trying to get there?
There were many flops. I finally accomplished a sourdough that's gluten free, and that took about 2 full years and probably 20 to 30 failures.
Whoa.
It's just I was trying to create one that was coconut flour free, and then it was free of this and free of that. So the flavor wasn't right. Yeah, it's definitely a challenge, and you can't just take any bread recipe and make it gluten free. In case you were wondering, it's got to take some special ingredients with it to create that missing structure.
Do you have a favorite alternative grain that you use?
Well, I kind of use multiple different things. Rice flour seems to be the best. My cassava and my chickpea flour tend to be the best flavor. I do a little bit with tapioca, but I'm learning there's quite a few people that can't do the potato. So I've been trying to switch over to the tapioca and keep that kind of going. I guess I use a variety of all the flours. That's probably the best option there.
And you mentioned that you had a physical restaurant location. Is that primarily where you sell now, or do you sell at farmers markets, or how do you get your baked goods to the people?
Well, I had the physical location for about 2 months, and then the building was for sale, and we moved back in, and it finally sold. So right now, I'm just selling at markets and craft fairs and all the events possible. I have a few kitchens, obviously the Lander, Middlelark Market and Kitchen. I rent sometimes for the bigger events, but I'm currently in the process of creating my own little kitchen.
Perfect.
That's cool.
Yeah, and in your area, you mentioned markets. So are there farmers markets in your area that you're at that we can tell people about?
Oh, yes. So I do have some products over at the Meadowlark Market and Kitchen. I deliver there weekly. And then in Riverton, there's the Fremont Local Market. I know the summertime outside markets are just starting now or just about to start. I can't promise I'll be at all of those, but I'm gonna try.
Do your kids help you with the baking and then help you at the in-person farmers markets?
Yes, they love going to the markets. I try not to have them help with products I'm going to sell, just to keep things clean, but they do love to help make breakfast and make their own desserts and they do their own birthday cakes with me, so they're very involved.
We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we want to hear about the specific things that you make and what a typical day is like for you. We'll be right back.
Oregon State University's College of Agricultural Sciences and the Food Innovation Center are proud sponsors of Meaningful Marketplace. With a mission to serve all Oregonians, we are committed to giving voice to those whose food and agricultural stories are not always heard. By providing access and opportunity for a more diverse and just food system, because food brings people together.
No baker is without a favorite cinnamon roll. Can you tell us about your cinnamon rolls that you make?
Yes. So I found a flour mixture that's actually a bread flour that makes the best cinnamon rolls. They do contain eggs and dairy, but they have the option of having it without eggs and dairy. So I kind of do both. Oh gosh, I can tell you that making regular cinnamon rolls has been my downfall for my whole life. But when I started making gluten-free ones, somehow they turned out.
It was meant to be.
I once had a recipe, well, I use it sometimes still, and it called for vanilla pudding mix, and it kind of really changed the texture of the gluten-free cinnamon rolls. Have you ever tried experimenting with something like that? It's kind of different.
I actually put vanilla pudding mix into my cookie dough, and that has been one of my top sellers. I haven't tried it in the cinnamon rolls though.
Try it.
We always like to hear about what a typical day is like, especially for bakers, because your day is probably different than most of our makers. So, what's a typical day like for you?
Well, right now, since I don't have an actual storefront, my baking days usually consist of Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays. I start my day off by getting the kids ready, going to school, and then I go to my other job. I work at a restaurant here in Riverton, and we usually are just open for lunch. And so I do that shift, and then we go home and get dinner ready, do the sports, do the dance classes, and get all of that done. And then by the time it's bedtime is when it's mom time and the busy mother time. So I spend my evenings baking, or I'll get stuff ready, and I bake pretty much through the night, or I start around 2 in the morning, get everything baked, packaged up, and then wake the kids up and start over.
You are a busy mother. It is all in the title.
Yes, it definitely fit when it came across. I had to stick with it.
When your kids wake up, if they've probably woke to a house smelling, of fresh baked goods, what is the first thing that they hope that you have made?
Well, my daughter always asks for frosting. Frosting is her favorite thing. So, what frosting do you have for me today? She will eat the whole bowl of frosting if I leave it out or anywhere she can reach it. So, we have to keep things hidden. My son's favorite thing now is cream puffs. He every morning,
Yum.
where's the cream puffs? Do I get cream puffs today?
I didn't know you were making cream puffs. I'm gonna have to look for those and try them.
Oh, yes. I actually made them for the entrepreneurship conference and they disappeared quicker than I thought they would. So I'll make them again, no worries. I was planning to do a big Mother's Day thing with cream puffs and little strawberry roses.
I must have been late to the buffet at the conference. I did not see them.
Well, we know that you make cinnamon rolls and cream puffs, and you mentioned cookies. What other things can we tell our listeners about that you bake?
Well, the biggest trend I have right now is the gluten-free yeast bread and flatbreads. I'll do like a veggie flatbread, a cheesy flatbread. Those go over pretty well, especially getting ready for summer and yummy sandwiches. Sourdough discard English muffins. I hardly get to make sourdough because I'm so busy making English muffins. I have probably probably 6 different wedding cake orders already. So we're filling up pretty fast with wedding cakes, birthday cakes. We do all sorts of events.
And so, if people want to place custom orders with you, do they do that through your Facebook site?
Yes. My Facebook, you can find me on Facebook. You're able to message through Facebook. I'm still unfamiliar with Instagram, but I'm really trying to work on that one. And then my number should be available on there as well. So feel free to call or text. If I don't answer, I'll definitely get back to you.
Do you mail samples or product around the country?
So far, I haven't been able to do that. I'm trying to figure out how to be able to get it across Wyoming, working on signing up with the Eat Wyoming. So that'll get across Wyoming. But as far as shipping, I haven't figured out how to ship things at a decent price.
Yeah, it can be a roadblock for sure.
What's something that people are requesting that you haven't made yet, but you want to bake it? If you want to figure out how to make a gluten-free.
I would say the most requested is bagels. A lot of people are like, I want bagels for breakfast, and keto bread. That's a big one. I've made keto bread, but I haven't been a huge fan of it.
What's the difference with keto if it doesn't have dairy, gluten, and eggs? What else do you have to leave out for it to become keto?
Well, generally your keto bread is okay with the dairy and the eggs. They're really big on the cheeses and the eggs. So that one's not too bad, but if you're trying to get the dairy and the eggs out of it, there's not a whole lot left to make a loaf of bread.
I just saw people blending up cottage cheese and adding eggs and then making a pizza crust with it. That would be keto. And then people could take it home and put their cheese and tomatoes. So maybe you could do a cottage cheese egg focaccia with some summer herbs and tomatoes on it. Might be interesting.
That sounds delightful. I know cottage cheese is a big one, so I've
Yeah,
tried to make cottage cheese chips and some crackers, and we're we're working on some new things.
that's great.
So I think I misunderstood the keto diet. They don't eat the grains, but they eat all the proteins.
They-
Yeah, it's protein.
And usually no sugar, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, low sugar.
Okay.
Alternative sugars a lot of times. That's why you see a lot of keto ice creams because you can make a keto ice cream with the alternative sweeteners and dairy fats.
We always like to ask our guests if they have any advice for people that are currently dreaming up a business.
Oh my goodness. It is definitely a lot more work than just starting something for fun. I started baking and I wanted to start a business many years ago. I would have to say this is my fourth attempt and actually putting my backbone into it and doing the things you're supposed to do. Take all the advice you can get from as many people as you can. It's impossible to remember everything, so make sure your circle is of a variety and people that really want to help.
That's a good segue. I wanted to know, how do you include your customers in the decision making process for when you're coming up with a new product?
Well, most of the time I just get requests from customers, and so I try making them. I have a lot of people that come to me with different allergens, and they're like, well, I can't have this. Do you think we could still make that? I do also post on Facebook like polls to see what maybe they'd be interested in.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think that's really nice because you're really able to listen to your community and listen to what's needed from your customer and make really special things for them, which, makes you really sought after in your community because not everybody can do that or people aren't really, always able to find things in their grocery store. And so just having you be able to do that and create those polls is, I'm sure, a very needed asset in your town.
Yes, it does help a lot. I'll have to make another one because I think it's been a while, but it's needed.
Mm-hmm.
Do people line up at your farmer's market booth to buy your product?
Well, I haven't done an in-person farmers market booth for quite a while.
Okay.
Because I had the restaurant location and I was doing that. The markets that I put stuff in right now are brick and mortar markets. So it's kind of a bummer not to be able to talk to people. That's been a struggle, but I've attended the craft fairs and all of let's see, Day in the Park's coming up here in Riverton. So I'll be at that one. I generally have quite a few people that walk by and they're like, "Hey, you're that cake lady, or you're that bread lady. What else do you have today?"
That's fun. You can do a collab with Melissa. She'll give you some her garlic.
Oh yeah, for garlic
Oh,
bread.
yeah. That would be fantastic.
Or your beautiful eggs, I'm sure. Do your chickens lay eggs, Melissa, or do you have eggless chickens?
I have both. If you're talking about meat birds,
Mhm.
yeah. So I have laying hens as well as chickens I raise for meat.
I think I have my terms wrong.
That's okay. I knew what you
We know
meant.
what you meant.
Well, and one thing, Marisha, that we definitely should collaborate on is I have a garlic peeling machine. And as a busy mother, I'm sure you definitely do not have time to peel your own garlic, very rarely, unless you have the kids helping on that chore. So that is one
Ugh,
nice
yeah.
thing that I'm able to do.
Oh, that would be such a big help. I just remember peeling so many cloves of garlic. It just takes so much longer.
You better watch out, Melissa. Everybody in Wyoming's going to come to you to have their garlic peeled.
Yeah,
That's a real asset.
I know it is. No one likes to peel garlic, even a garlic lover like myself, which is the
Mm-mm.
reason I bought the machine.
Mhm.
That's cool.
Is there something, Marisha, you do great? Like you kind of do bespoke, baking. Is there anything that people have asked you to put in their bread that you're like, oh no, you don't put that in bread?
Well, I don't think I've ever had anything that they've asked me to put in bread that you shouldn't. I've had requests for bread that doesn't have gluten or eggs or dairy or multiple things, and I'm like, well, that doesn't really make a bread. So that's been interesting, but I'm always willing to try stuff. You never know, it could be amazing.
We like that open spirit and willingness to try it all out. That's how you keep your customers coming back, I feel like. Well, let's tell people one more time how to find you online so that they can check out you and your business.
All right. Well, my biggest one is you can find me on Facebook under the Busy Mother LLC, as well as on Instagram. Those are my two big ones. We're working on hopefully launching a website by the end of this year. It's definitely a bigger jump than I was expecting, but we'd like to do it correctly.
Perfect. Well, it's been great chatting with you today, and we appreciate what you're doing for your community. And it was nice to hear about you and your story and your business.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on. We appreciate you.
I appreciate the time to be able to do this and being able to meet all these wonderful people.
Thank you for listening to the Meaningful Marketplace podcast. Before you go, show some love for your favorite podcast by leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts and iTunes. Follow us on Instagram at Meaningful Marketplace Podcast. And you can call or text Sarah and I with questions at 503-395-8858. And we couldn't do this without our fantastic team at Joy of Creation Production House. Thank you to Dave, our production coordinator, and Haley, our audio engineer. And we'll be back next week, everybody. Bye.
Bye for now.